material, with perhaps the exception of a counter return, is initially processed by the warehouse or RDC. In an ideal world, the customer calls our inside salesperson and indicates he or she has material to be picked up for credit. The salesperson makes the appropriate entries in sales order entry. This results in the generation of 2 copies of what is known as Return Goods Acknowledgement, or RGA. These are brought to the warehouse and handed to the warehouse manager. A manifest is created from the RGA. The driver picks up the material, captures the customer signature, and leaves a copy of the RGA with the customer. Upon returning to the warehouse or RDC, the material is placed in a designated area for returns along with the remaining copy of the RGA. Access the Return Goods queue from the warehouse menu. To press Enter to bypass the buyer. We are only interested in entries with the R-type review code. Let the display complete. If we hit Enter prematurely, we terminate the process. We recognize an ITE item, the Q120, is a stocked item. Visual inspection indicates it is in good condition and can be returned to stock. To check for the shelf location, depress Alt-L and put the material back. Escape back to the queue and depress Alt-E to edit the return. With the cursor on the correct item, depress Alt-S for schedule. We need to change the type from Review R to Stock S. Type S in the Type column. You can also correct the location if you put away the returned item in a different location than was specified. This is done by tabbing to the Location column and changing the location. Escape to the status screen. Make sure the salesperson has the Ship Via set to Return Goods. If not, change it. Change the order status from Call when available or Call when complete by overlaying the C in Call with an I for Invoice. This action automatically sets the PRT status flag to P for Preview. Escape back to the Return Goods queue. Note that the ITE item has been deleted from the queue. We should not pick up special order items unless we are certain there is a manufacturer's RGA and in all probability a restocking fee. For example, let's look at the Hoffman item. Again, we drill into the return, then Alt-Q inquiry, and then Alt-H for history. A special order item will be indicated by tagged in the Type column. We should then check the pending credit. Make sure there is a manufacturer's RGA number referenced in the comments. If the manufacturer's RGA is not referenced, check with the salesman that wrote the credit by depressing the Alt-H header. This means the material can be returned. This requires creation of a return purchase order. Depending on the structure of our district or branch, the return PO can be created by a district administrator, a buyer, or the warehouse manager. If the district administrator or buyer is doing the creation, we need to change the type from R to F. Again, we depress Alt-S, and this time instead of changing to S, we enter F and escape back to the queue. If we have the authority to create a return PO, then with the cursor positioned on the item to be returned, enter the vendor name or abbreviation. In this instance, we would enter Hoffman. Again, with the cursor on the Hoffman item, depress Alt-C to create the return PO. Add a line item to the PO for the restocking fee. In this case, it's $32. Add a comment indicating the RGA, name, and date the vendor gave us. Also enter the vendor's RGA in the order ID. If there are any instructions, enter them in the vendor instructions box. Escape to the status screen and use Alt-P to print 2 copies of the return PO. After the return has been shipped, re-access the return PO and record the tracking or pro number as a general comment. Finally, we receive the return by changing the order status from open to received. And that's how we manage returns.